Bonjour, and welcome to all you comic book geeks, readers and collectors. And it's good to have Image back. In England, we've missed them for 2, maybe 3 weeks. And I've got to say, I was realising Image and Ghost Machine, I know they're part of Image, but those two, without Image, Distillery, Dark Horse, do you know what? If we were down to the big 2, I've got to admit, I think I'd just be collecting back issues. I think I would just be keeping money in my pocket. And I know that sounds a bit controversial and come on, Hog, mate, come on. You're starting your video off with a bit of a downer here. But no, I've got to say, that 2 weeks, I struggled. I really did struggle. But I'm back, baby, and so are they. So firstly, I do apologise if I've put on my thumbnail this week's, I'm going to have to put this week's top 15 because we've got a lot of catching up to do, guys. So you better get ready. You better go to the toilet. You better get your favourite cup or glass of whatever you want ready. Because as the actress said to the bishop, and you know what's coming on, I'm going to have to get a t-shirt. I'm going to have to start merching all this stuff, ain't I? As the actress said to the bishop, and say it with me, this is a big one. I could hear you then. I could hear you all. Thanks for that. Do you know what? I am going to just get on with it, but before I do, don't forget the spoilers will be after my little scroll because I'll do a deep dive on the top 5. That hasn't changed. I've got a lot of the also Rands is, honourable mentions is what I prefer to say. And don't forget, right at the end, we're still going to have our little bit of fun with cover of the week. Imagining we was tiptoeing to the spinner rack with our pocket money, but we could only buy one comic. Do you remember those days? Oh, and the covers would, it would be the tractor beam that, what's going to take our attention first? Or the shelf, drugstore shelf, newsagent shelf, whatever it was, spinner rack. It was the covers, come on. But that's my little bit of fun. Not that I don't have fun all the way through, but that is just my little bit of self-indulgence maybe, right at the end. It's all going to be chapterised so you can skip around. If you haven't picked your stash up yet, you can skip around to your heart's content. And I hope you enjoy. So let's get on with it. The first up are the ones that just need mentioning. Good comics. And like I say, apologies if these are late, but they're all new to me. So here they are. Right, the last part of this was just a battle royale. Enough said about that. I just enjoy it. Scotty Young has a way with the comedic element of things, and particularly this character. He just writes his heart out, and Brett Bean on the art. I couldn't think of a better artist for this particular character in this comic. Because obviously Scotty Young's art set it all up way back when. So I just throw it. Just if you're not getting it, just pick up the trades when they come out. I think they're fairly inexpensive. So really enjoyed that. Another one. Captain, it's all, it's good. It's decent. It's decent. I like the art. The story is different, and I like the way it's exploring. I was going to say Falcon. Then we're not allowed to call him that anymore, are we? We don't go there. That's another one of my little sayings, by the way, if you haven't been here before. We don't go there. But anyway, this is here, so, all right, don't come at me, because I'm saying it's good, all right? Okay? Marvel aren't doing, again, it ain't going to win. It ain't going to win no awards, but it's decent. This is awesome. Thanks to me old mate Mandy. Link in the front page, whatever you call it. She has her own YouTube channel, which she recommended this to me, and now I'm recommending it to you. a mixture of, I think I said this before because it is the one thing that sums it all up, and it is The Walking Dead meets Watership Down. But it isn't zombies. I just love this cover. My old mate Paul, Comics and Fantasy, and he knew I'd like this Fangoria, this Fangoria variant cover. I'm not a big variant cover guy, but that is just the continuing adventures, issue 10. If you're missing it, again, trades, or I found the back issues fairly easy to pick up. If you just love your floppy ones like I do, then I think they're fairly easy, to be fair. As always, do you see what I mean about if I was left to the big two so far? Anyway, as always, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Standalone issue, it tells you that on the cover. He has a little breather as well, Wes Craig. He writes, he draws, and he has a break, and he comes back with the next arc. And I love him for that. I love him as well. I've said this before, but if you are new, I love it. I love him for doing this on the back, telling us, just giving us the heads up. And look, just gives us what's going on. And then you open up the first page, it gives you previously in Kaya. So if you are getting 20, 30 books a week, and the next time they roll round, you think, oh yeah, maybe it's an age thing. But I love it. I've loved this comic from day one. It's fresh. It sounds like a drink or something, doesn't it? I was going to say it was fresh, it's new, and it's different. A bit like cherry cola when that first came out. Another beautiful image book. And Rick Remender, we're going to see him later on. This man, Rick Remender, is quickly becoming one of my favourite writers, which means that when his name's on the cover, I just pick it up. And it's as simple as that. And I will always give him that chance. It's not like, maybe like, the guy who's writing Wonder Woman, you got to just, is it Tom King? You just ease your way in, and a Garth Ennis at the moment. Sorry, mate, I do love you. But, sometimes I just think, oh, is this just Garth being Garth again? Yeah, it is. And then you put it back. But this man, my God, he's Napalm Lullaby with a sci-fi kind of what's it thing. He's doing this with a fantasy, and he's got a brand new book that we'll see in a minute. Love him. Love the guys. Love the guy's work and the way that he is just bouncing around different genres and telling beautiful stories. Love it. Here's quick catch up with Ghost Machine, Geiger, post-apocalyptic western. Here's our new character in this issue. I won't say it, because I won't give too many spoilers. I'm just telling you the comics I'm loving and the ones you should be getting, rather than give you a rundown of what happens in these issues. When Gary Frank is on it, and Jeff Johns is particularly awesome. So, and the standard, it's just how they maintain the standard, and on this as well. Another book I've loved since day one, and Geiger. But these, at the moment, the last issue and this issue are like little standalones. And we've got is it Johnny Appletree? Is that his name? And I didn't know he was an American like folk. Johnny Appleseed. I didn't know he was a American folk hero, mythological. I don't know. I didn't know. But anyway, this was delightful. Absolutely beautiful. I have done these on a deep dive before. Do you know what? I would have loved to have done this on a deep dive. Sacrifices on a deep dive with Max Fiumara's artwork. Just gorgeous stuff. That was almost like a little bit of a standalone as well. This month, but and then this. This is like a light. It's light-hearted, but the stakes are. It's like just a modern day. I know I've said it before. It's like the Jetsons, but with a modern take, you know, like the Jetsons for the 21st. It doesn't make sense though, does it? Because it was set in the future. But anyway, and more intrigue afoot, and the family, the characters in this, and this isn't an action-packed comic. It isn't. But there is plenty going on, if that makes sense, between the characters, and it is fun. It's just baldry. It's just light. It's light-hearted, and I like it. I like it a lot because it balances out, you know, action-packed with Geiger, Redcoat with the swashbuckling, and etc. etc. Right, first issue here. Really enjoyed this. I'm loving the conceit of the central idea, and we all know. A spoiler if you haven't read anything about this and you haven't picked this up yet. But so just a quick, tiny spoiler. The conceit that since he becomes Sorcerer Supreme, that he just goes, right, stop it, everyone, stop fighting, stop it, I'm in charge. And it is very, very poignant at the moment, is it not? Particularly for my US fans, more than the rest of the world. But we're all going to be catching up, aren't we, in the next 4 years? But that was a really great. It was an interesting. I loved the artwork's good, intriguing how they're using the Marvel characters, even with Squirrel Girl in it. See, didn't wind me out. No. Potential there to end up on my Whinge of the Week stack, but it did not, even with Squirrel Girl in it. I don't know why she's there. I literally don't know why she's there, but it didn't wipe it. The rest, it's awesome. Off to a great start. Enjoyed it. And this is off to a great start as well. Look at this beautiful cover, my old mate Paul. You knew I'd go for this one. El Peach Momoko. I was struggling to narrow it down to 5 for the deep dive. This, because it was a setup issue, there is plenty, don't get me wrong, there's plenty going on. And what an intriguing premise to this. Such an intriguing premise. It, you know, it just gives you enough, leaves you wanting more. Like I say, there's no spoilers here. I'm just giving you opinion on these books, really. You know, you can go elsewhere if you want to read what they're about, to be honest. You don't need me to tell you what's going on, do you? But there is, yeah, Jason Aaron's feels like he's enjoying himself, relaxing a little bit with this one. Love it. With the create your own stuff, I think the creators do, to be fair. Right, my 5 for the deep dive, which we'll see after the scroll. I've got to do this again. Got to do. Well, I think most of these I've done in a deep dive before. Beautiful stuff from Rossmo and Daniel Warren Johnson. Shouldn't be a tongue twister, really, should it? But it's an age thing. Yeah, the continuing adventures. Obviously, this is the first issue in the new story arc, isn't it? Like in the new, because it left it on a cliffhanger at issue 5, and now we're into the new second phase of the story. So we'll go through the story after the scroll. This had a rocky start with me. I don't know why I found it so jarring, but Dragotta's artwork on this. Oh wow, this rocks along like you wouldn't believe. If you aren't picking this up, or I mean, by now, if you're not picking this up or thinking about it, then you're just not interested. So I don't know how I can talk you into it. But if you are still sitting on the fence and you think, oh, I may get the trade when it comes out, just take a look at Dragotta's artwork. It was really jarring in one of the issues up till now that they changed. They used the excuse that it was a flat. No, I'm not falling. I'm not having that. They should have just kept Dragotta on it. End of. Another Batman book, and again, I've done this. This is one of the best Batman's stories I've read. A brilliant new villain, absolutely superb. When and how they're doing the origin, there's more revelations about his origin in this, and hey, who is it? It's Hayden Sherman, isn't it? I was going to say Hayden Christian, and that's completely different, isn't it? Hayden Sherman, yeah, his artwork in this, we're going to have a little look. It's beautiful stuff, and it doesn't get a lot more beautiful than this. Wow, what an impressive looking comic this is. Picking this up off the shelf and just flicking through it, what an absolute beauty. The artwork, John Timms. Now, I'm not a big DC fan, and I've got a gap in my kind of modern age, what's it, but I've never, so sorry, forgive me for having to look his name up. His artwork is beautiful in this, and the colouring as well, and I think I did do a deep dive on number 1, you know, but Rex Locus on the colouring, Jeremy Adams on the storyline. Wow, this is a comic for me. Now I know there are purists, and I'm looking at you, DC Patrol, me old mucker from Fred's. How are you? And I'm really intrigued about his take on it, because he's saying it's not the traditional Aquaman. And that is probably why I'm enjoying it so much. Maybe, you know, I'm done with that. Well, I've been done with Aquaman for many a year. I'm not saying I detest the character. I'm just saying it's meh. But that, wow, beautiful. Good stuff. And my book of the week this week, my old mate Rick Remender again. This was sensational. This is like the first day of spring, right, after a long winter of a comic. I tell you what, the art style. I mean, I know I do say Europe, but everything about this, Paul as a setter. I don't know his origin, where he is, where he lives, what his influences are, but this looks like a classic comic book album from Europe, on Italian, like the artwork that they had on Batman when they teamed him up with the Dylan Dog. That European sensibility and the colouring, the pastel palette in the colouring as well. Oh, beautiful. Just spot on. Absolutely spot on with this book of the week. Just before we jump to the scroll, and I know I told you it was mega, but don't forget the scroll. Pause it at the scroll and go and get another drink. Go and get another beer or glass of bubbly, whatever you're quaffing when you watch my videos. Little whinge of the week. Mark Millar, right? I buy all his stuff. I've done for a long while. The artwork on this, normally he really does do well pairing up with good artists for his storylines, whether it's Nightclub, Nemesis. Oh, what was the other one? Magic Order. Right. My God. I'm struggling with the absolutely insipid artwork in this. It's such a shame. Absolute shame. And I've got to call it out. I'm sorry. Got to call it out. So if you're waiting for the trade on this, I wouldn't bother. I don't want to. You just don't want to look at it. All you want to do is read the word bubbles and just get on with it. Such a shame. I'm really struggling with this one. And when you think it started out with Frank Quitely, didn't it? Jupiter's Legacy, or whatever the first one was called. Anyway, such a shame that it's going to end with a whimper of a book where it started out with such a glorious beginning. Anyway, that's my whinge of the week. There's too much good stuff to get on with, is there not? And after my little scroll, we'll have a deep dive for the top 5 and we'll do cover of the week. Right, gang, let's jump straight in. With this book has been consistently brilliant. Riley Rossmo's best work. I've said it all before. Issue 6, right. I wouldn't say this is a jumping on point, but what it is the first chapter in the new story. So previously we've had our couple trying to save our heroes, trying to save their daughter from her dream world. It's the easiest way I can put it. At the end of the first arc, the end of issue 5, we meet one of their daughter's nightmares. So they've been fighting the enemy in her dreams. Now we're in her nightmares, and it's a really imaginative way of telling it. So she's obviously fearful of spiders, crabs, and it's just nice. It's just such a neat concept. It's not. He's not. Daniel Warren Johnson isn't bogging himself down into kind of something like, like a time travel story can get bogged down in technicality. He's not doing that here, and it really is rocking along. I've got to say, the first 5 issues, they crack along. And like I say, Rossmo's artwork is the best I've seen. It suits this storyline so well. And they're basically in their daughter's nightmare now, Nightmare Land. And funnily enough, they're familiar with certain things that they're finding there. And what I particularly liked in this issue was how they're finding items that, like, they know she doesn't like spiders, they know she doesn't like crabs, and that's why they would be in her nightmares. But there are certain things they're finding, and then what they do is they give you a flashback. They give you a flashback to where, like, there's their daughter, that's them in the real world now. And I found that such an here we go again, like sharks now, and they've obviously taken them to the aquarium, whatever you want to call it, a zoo. I like these little flashback bits. They were really poignant and a nice. They were very well placed within the story, like an accent, like a comma, or in a prose story, it would just take a breath. And that, like you can see, rocks along. Rossmo, spot on with it. It does say that Daniel Warren is on the art as well, but I think that's just the first 2 pages by the looks of it. Maybe they're saying artist as well, creative. Right? It's been Rossmo all along but a cracking read. They're in the nightmare part now, nightmare part of the story. So thoroughly recommend. And this one, I don't think it needs any introduction. I'm still not quite happy with this, with it. Not 100%, but here it is in my top 5 because of Dragotto's artwork. Look how beautiful the artwork and the colouring is in this book. That is awesome. I've put that on Threads as well. That I just couldn't not. And I know I've said it before, and I know he's been in my top 5 before, but his use of these tiny panels is really rewarding. It really does carry this. It somehow, instead of dragging it down, when you use too many panels, it can drag. It can really put an anchor on a story. But in Dragotto's hands, another beautiful piece of, obviously, the classic part of the story. But in Dragotto's hands, these little panels just actually, they really race. The story's really rocking along. I love this bit where he's literally lit up burning the money that he's trying to be bribed with. Great. That's a great, That's a poster, if ever I've seen one. And again, I'm not so happy with his logo, but I know that everything's beefed up and oof and oosh. So, you know, I get it. Great villain as well. And these action scenes, look at this. These whack, crack, pow, crunch, wham. Who's doing this? Is it the writer or is it the artist? I don't know. Chunk. And we've seen all these. So the things he's using here in this fight, it's all been set up. Like the wings that he uses within his cape, or the kind of hook things, and these spikes that come out of his outfit. So yeah, great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. And I suppose, you know, it's only just more of the same. I think, was there yeah, it's just, yeah, but yeah, it's come right up in my estimation, that one. And another Batman comic. So apologies for doubling down on Batman, but this is a superb. This is more like it, to be fair, like peak Batman for me, where he's a detective and we've got a brand new villain in place. And it kind of did. Oh, I love Hayden Sherman's artwork. I'm loving, and this is his kind of like his origin. Like, Batman is a detective looking into where he's come from, and this is just it's just excellent stuff. It's blown me away. This one. It's very, very nicely done. Here we go. He gets saved. He gets saved by a concerned citizen in the town that he's gone out into the sticks. He is coming back to God. What a lovely panel. And this stuff. Look, oh, where is it the Wound Man, whatever he's called? I mean, don't know about the name, but as villains go. You know, all these screws and nails, everything has missed a major artery. Yeah, it's great. It's such a creepy concept. Such a creepy concept. It's great. You know, the burgeoning relationship between Batman and Gordon. And who doesn't love a little panel with, you know, where Gordon's talking to himself and then turns around and says, "Oh, look, you're gone, aren't you?" Just, you know, come on, you know, give us a nod. Give us a nod to it. Reminds me a bit of Tim Sale, a little bit. I mean, he's got nothing to do with Tim Sale at all. You know, he's his own artist, but I just thought that was a little bit Tim Sale-esque. I just thought I'd mention it. Anyway. It ends up with these two kind of, look, I mean, Batman's kind of helping him. That was a nice page of art, sequential art and words making sense and leading on, like, as a page turner, leading on to kind of like the climax of the origin story. Beautiful stuff. Nice, very Dan Watters, nicely paced. Hayden Sherman, awesome. Great stuff. But as far as beautiful comics go, wow, you would be hard pressed to find a more beautiful looking look at that. I mean, the colours, just on the look at this, outstanding by John Timms. And I've mentioned Rex Locust. Jeremy Adams' story as well is also great. I'm enjoying it all. Literally enjoying it all. Look at this stuff. Oh, it's joyous. The colouring, the art. I mean, I know it's kind of like a different Aquaman. I can see what my old mate DC Patrol means. Well, I can see where, as a hardcore Aquaman fan, he's thinking, "Oh, this isn't even whatever his name is, like the traditional aspect, but perhaps that, well, I say perhaps, that is what I'm enjoying most about this. It isn't just the same old same, because I wasn't the character's biggest fan. I love all this stuff. I love all this stuff that they're doing, and it's about nature and the way that water's disappearing and what certain people have got to do to get their water. And then there's some guest stars turn up, and straight away. I mean, I just loved it. That I thought, why is he talking to this old man in with a beard and long hair? And I won't give too many. I'm not going to give that spoiler away. Read the comic, guys, because it is well worth it. It's only issue 2. I don't think issue 1 is like an ultimate sellout. Kind of look at this. Beautiful stuff. Jenny Greenteeth. I mean, it's time to die. But no, lovely, beautiful comic. That thoroughly recommend. Get both issues. But book of the week. What a sensational opening. Look at this. I love this style of art. Like I said, on Batman Dylan Dog, the Italian artists, and even the design. Harper Jayton here, edit and design. Obviously, Harper's got a lot to do with what's going on here, and that European feel, that kind of breakfast at Tiffany's, that going back to the 50s and 60s with the fonts and all of that. Love it, absolutely love it. And the pastel colours and just look at this. And this is spring, because I've only read this once, so forgive me. Yeah, I think this is spring. So the seasons are 4 sisters, and in this issue we've just got spring. And this won't sound very exciting, but she's basically just, and spoiler alert, if you have got this in your pull list, and all she's basically doing is chasing this letter that's being blown around by the wind on her moped, on her Lambretta, and getting into, kind of crash, causing mayhem, chasing after the envelope, and trying to save Gilbert, who is her goldfish tied to the back of her moped. Slap. I think this is beautiful stuff. The economy of line and colours while telling the story, and this romps along. It just puts a smile on your face. Honestly, it just really, really puts a smile on your face. It harks back to a different age, and also a world that never really existed. This world that we're in here only really ever existed or exists in cinema and comics. This isn't the real world, but it's accomplished so well, with such an economy of line and style. But we know where we are. We know we're in the cake shop. We know we're in the kitchen with the pizza oven. We know. Love it. I just absolutely love it. I mean, I know I might be, this isn't a modern age superhero comic, with all the bells and whistles, but this is a bit of me. Hence the book of the week. This is properly a bit of me. It's different, yet you can't put your finger on what is so familiar about it. Absolutely love it. From the design to the palette to the introduction of the character and the intrigue at the end of the issue. Some of this is kind of almost slapstick. Falling from the lamppost through the washing lines into the straight into the bin. Look, plink, kaduk. Superb. No, I thought this was thoroughly beautiful. And Paul Azuqueta, I hope I've pronounced his name right. And Remender, obviously, I didn't kick it off, but I started with a Remender. And like I say, and obviously, I know I always give kudos to the colourist, but Matthias Lopez in this particularly, his choice of palette in this comic is key. Look at this. Because now he's gone from the pastel to the full on. You know, we go from pastels until the carnival turns up, and then you see the colour palette changing from the yellow of that banana to the yellow of this ribbon. Absolutely outstanding. Outstanding. Yeah, book of the week. As far as covers go, very intriguing, almost creepy. I mean, it kind of doesn't advertise what's inside, but that's the cover of the week, guys. And obviously that is beautiful in every way, this comic, as I have just gushed. Batman looking mean and moody, you know, in the Gotham in the background, and the new Commissioner Gordon and our new villain. Oh, look, it's all kicking off there with monsters with swords and monsters with teeth and a little green guy with a club. A little bit of Red Hulk action. I thought that was quite a dynamic cover. I'm not a fan of the art style, the computerized kind of, no. You know, I'm a traditional hog, but we're talking about cover of the week that wants to draw us in, and that's quite a dynamic. I love the fact, but only old crusties like me that remember or are interested in horror and Fangoria will kind of appreciate this cover, but I've got to include it. I love this cover. Great art. And I like the way that all the Marvel heroes are bowing under doom. That is, that's special, that is. And always a Peach Momoko going weird and wonderful. Brilliant. Nothing to do with anything inside. But nonetheless, a beautiful cover. But is it cover of the week? That one, no. Just cats and it's good. It's got blood, you know, the blood, but it's still a bit static. It's epic, but also static. Same can be said for Seasons. You know, it's creepy and and enigmatic. I don't know where I got that word from, but that's action packed. But I think it's kind of, that is beautiful. But you know, it's fighting. You know, Aquaman fighting a dinosaur. It's between these four, really. Do we want to see Red Hulk punching out Falcon? Aquaman fighting a water dinosaur? Could it be? You know, as you're approaching the comic, wow, do I want to see Aquaman fighting? Would that make me? Yes, it would. This would as well. That would as well. Kind of a robot with machine guns and. But I think for it's out of Aquaman and Doom for me. And I know you're going to say, but Hog, that is quite static. But I just like the way I think that's quite an iconic image. The Sorcerer Supreme that is now Doom, with all the Marvel heroes there. I'm going to bring the moon is following us back, really, because I think it's out of these two, or out of those three. I'm going to go Aquaman. Come on, I've got to bring this video to an end, so before everyone's got to go to bed. Everyone's got to go night-nights. Sorry, guys, but as you can see, I've packed a lot in. That's my cover of the week. If you have followed me this far, I really do, more than most weeks. I thank you so much, because you really have. You really have bared with me, but there's so much good stuff, and it's great when there's so much good stuff to talk about. So thank you. Thank you so much. And until next time, I will bid you all adios.